have more confidence in your own ability. If I was talking to myself, remain humble and always eager to learn, but be confident, because there can be a fine line between confidence and cockiness. But be confident and go try things and take risks and go for it. There is plenty that people can do to depower insurance companies, and while still fighting them in certain cases, or start to siphon out and create your own networks. And there's more tech that's enabling those kinds of things, like real-time adjudication for payments. Because again, if you just are a doctor, some of these platforms out there, you can plug in and say, hey, I'm a doctor in this area. And that can be a health plan, right? I'm a doctor in this area. These are the things I do. This is what it costs to come and see me. And then someone else is traveling through and they have this insurance plan, and they're, cash-based communication approval from an employer or something like that, or as long as it hits and then go, and then it's fine. And these employees too, they have zero premiums, no copays, just so long as you go to the right network.
Right.
It's just a network.
Thanks for tuning in to the Healthy Careers podcast. In 2024, we reached over 32,000 listeners and ranked in the top 15% of all podcasts. We're proud to have SharePro Health as a sponsor and are currently looking for 2 more partners in 2025. If you're looking to connect with healthcare leaders, providers, and innovators, we'd love to spread the word about your service, product, or business. Reach out to me, Maddie, for more details. That's what Dr. Miller's doing with the Hurt app.
Yeah.
Within orthopedics. And I think it's brilliant because it's removing the middleman. And that's ultimately what insurance has become, is we've dumbed down the ability, like you're saying, to just go direct. I mean, this is how relationships are built. This is how things have always been in business. And I agree. I think that's a brilliant way to do it, especially when you're in orthopedics and pain, like where I live. You mentioned, the amount of blue collar sites, Southwire, what's the other, DecoStar. We've got plants of probably thousands of employees that God only knows how much they're paying in healthcare costs each year.
Yeah. It's insane. And they just go, the broker comes in, they say, cool, you want to renew with Humana? And they're like, yeah, I don't know, I guess so. And then Humana's, they do. They're the TPA, they're the network, they're the everything. They don't give them any health data. They just go and then they'll contract with Tanner. And then Tanner's like, here are our rates. And then Humana's like, how much can I make off this year? It's just, there's no incentive for them to lower the cost of care at all.
Tanner sucks. The bills that they send me and the things that they build me on, I'm like, what? I swear they're like, you turn the TV on once.
Yeah, they're just messing with you at this point. Right. Can I have an itemized bill, please? I love that's the best. You ask for an itemized bill, and then they're usually like, oh, wait a second. We whatever.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
We need to adjust.
Exactly. Send me the CPT codes.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see the medical documentation that supports that? And they're like, this isn't worth it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's funny to think about because, on the flip side of that, the health system still needs to get paid, right? We do still need hospitals.
Yeah, of course.
But I think
you can't just get healthcare for free.
Right. But those are part of the problems too, is because patients are getting overcharged. Insurance companies are trying to pay less and less. Like the advent of the high deductible plan, it was just a mechanism to push off as much healthcare onto patients and people as possible from an insurance company perspective, so that they could get out of the game as much as they can. So, I'm always careful to temper the never pay health system $1 sentiment, which I have sometimes, because frankly, if you had a system that operated well, that didn't have the middlemen, didn't have the, ridiculousness, that well-run health systems that are operationally efficient, doing the right things, we'd probably save easily $2 trillion in healthcare. And then it becomes affordable. And then I'm like, yeah, I'll pay that, whatever, because It's reasonable, it's predictable, it comes on time. Here's one bill, here's another bill, 12 months later, here's this other bill. And then 18 months later, they're like, oh, actually, here's a refund for $400. And you're like, what's happening?
We forgot to charge you for that blood draw back in 2020.
Right. You're just like, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And I think I saw something. Do you know Tiffany Ryder?
Through LinkedIn, but yeah.
Through LinkedIn, yes. So she is a part of this community where instead of having healthcare, essentially it's this group of people. Now, obviously, you have to be somewhat affluent to be a part of this, in that you give money each month. There's no specific amount of a subscription per se, but you give money to this group. and then say someone's like, hey, I need to go have a PRP shot, and it was $300. Then the group comes together to collect that money and then pay for that rather than have to rely on insurance and that kind of stuff. Now, a lot of PRP injections, they won't bill to insurance anyway.
Yeah.
But, it's a way, it's similar to what you're saying in terms of the community sense that we're all supporting each other. And this is how healthcare should work, right? It should be that we're working towards getting the care that people need and the access to healthcare, because so many people, if they go to the doctor and they say it's going to cost X amount because insurance isn't covering it, or you need to go through all these other steps before you can do it. I mean, there's a lot of people that tap out and say, well, then I'm not doing it. So now we have an access to healthcare problem. And it's just this big tumbleweed of more issues and more issues over just greed of insurance companies.
Yeah. Tumbleweed is definitely a good metaphor for it, because it's just such a tangled mess and every layer goes on top, but it's still unwindable, right? We could unravel it for sure. And, I think people get hung up. I don't think people talk about it anymore. Do people still talk about Medicare for all? I feel like people are over it, or just the terminology of
Medicare fraud, you said?
Medicare, no, Medicare for all. Like people
Medicare fraud.
No, people are not over Medicare fraud. Definitely not. Like, do not condone Medicare fraud.
Are people still up to that these days? I think so.
Yeah, definitely. People don't talk about Medicare for all anymore, but the premise of it makes sense. But even if you didn't have like a single payer, which is the premise of Medicare for all, and then people amalgamate it to be like, well, Medicare doesn't pay enough, whatever. But even if you looked at across the world at different models and different ways they do it, it maybe isn't a single payer, which is like England has, and like doesn't work all the time. But the idea of universal healthcare, and then tailoring whatever universal healthcare, what it means to what the needs are of, actually distributing and covering and paying for healthcare. Because again, no one will ever do it. It'll have to happen some other way, because on the part of